Merkel. Here is the moment that brought about a reaction from the crowd as Ivanka defended her father.
Sadly, the United States is one of the only countries in the world, the only developed country in the world that doesn't have a paid leave policy for the benefit of families. So that is something I'm very, very proud of my father's advocacy. Long before he came into the presidency, but during the campaign, including in the primaries, he's been a tremendous champion of supporting families and enabling them to thrive in the new reality of
You hear the reaction from the audience.
I certainly heard the criticism from the media, and that's been perpetuated. But I know from personal experience, and I think the thousands of women who have worked with and for my father for decades, when he was in the private sector, are a testament to his belief and solid conviction in the potential of women and their ability to do the job as well as any man.
All right, so I want to bring in right now CNN White House reporter Kate Bennett and Tika Schubert, CNN's senior international correspondent, both joining me now from Berlin. Guys, thank you so much for being here. So, Kate, you've been following Ivanka on this trip. How did this all play out? What all went on in that room, in that summit?
So it was a fairly long panel, and it covered a wide range of topics, mainly focusing on women and the economy, closing the pay gap, entrepreneurship. So all the topics were relevant in what we anticipated. However, there was a moment, as we just saw, when Ivanka Trump was talking about her father and his policy about families, where the audience did get a little bit riled up a bit, and she had to address that. But I'll tell you, Kate, right off the bat during this panel, the moderator wanted to know and said that the Germans wanted to know, who is Ivanka Trump and what exactly is her role in her father's administration?
Well, certainly not the latter, and I am rather unfamiliar with this role as well, as it is quite new to me. It has been a little under 100 days, but it has just been a remarkable and incredible journey. So this is very early for me. I'm listening, I'm learning, I'm defining the ways in which I think that I'll be able to have impact.
Now, also, Kate, I will say that afterwards in an off-camera gaggle, Ivanka Trump said it was fine, she handled it, she's used to it, it's just politics, she can continue on and let it roll off her back.
All right, so Tika, you've been on the ground ahead of this visit. I mean, are you surprised by the kind of rough reaction from the audience there?
I'm not too surprised. I mean, look, we had heard there might even be protests when she came. Those protests did not appear. But she was speaking to an audience that has been very skeptical, especially seeing the kind of remarks that were made by President Trump when he was campaigning. And the reaction really came when she said that her father was a champion of women's issues, and that's when we heard that murmuring and hissing. But having said that, for most of the panel, the audience was respectful, and she really held her own with a very intimidating and formidable panel of women. She was seated next to Christine Lagarde, head of the IMF. Angela Merkel was there, arguably the most powerful woman in the world. And, she showed she did her homework and that she was passionate about these issues of women's empowerment and entrepreneurship. And I think that's what mattered perhaps most to the audience.
Yeah, maybe. Kate, who was in the audience, Kate? I assume this was an invite-only type of event.
Yeah, absolutely. The W20 summit featured many, many business leaders from across the globe, women who are interested in sort of furthering the economic success of women and having a global impact afterwards. Ivanka Trump did speak to the private in her little off-camera gaggle, saying that they're going to hopefully establish a fund by the World Bank will be involved and again push these issues forward. As we've heard from Ivanka since the beginning of her father's administration, these women's issues are really the crux of why she's there, why her father has sort of nominated her to be the voice and be his emissary on these issues on a global stage. So she's following through essentially on what she has claimed to be so far her most passionate